Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Danielle, the American expat mom of 3 living in Germany. Bit of an overwhelming update. I finally feel ready and charged enough to talk about this whole thing. It's been a little bit heavy, but the weather has gotten so nice here, so I feel quite recharged. I know I said that Johannes might join me to talk about this, but he actually came up with the idea to film this together. But then he hasn't really wanted to do it since. Plus, just so you know, this is only like a fragment of what's been on our mind and what's been going on, but I felt it'd be important to share, especially for the cultural side of things when it comes to this channel. And a lot of you guys know that we have had a desire to try to move to the UK. So as you can tell already, probably from the title, we completely blew it when it came to trying to get to the UK before Brexit had officially hit. So we had looked up really shortly after our trip in 2019 what Brexit might entail. And when we did our research, we really weren't that overwhelmed by the transition. There was really no talk of having like a point-based system, at least at that point, and it was looking like as long as my husband or I were Euro citizens and had a certain level of education, we shouldn't have too much of a problem moving over there. But boy, were we wrong, and boy, is it going to be hard, if not impossible, with the circumstances we're currently in. We will admit, and this is why else it was so hard on us, is we were really silly to just kind of take some, I guess, speculation of what Brexit would entail without furthering our research on it. So we were just really gutted and felt really stupid, to be honest, that we missed it. So I'll explain like what it is you have to do to basically move over there as a European citizen now. It's not really much different than if I wanted to move to the UK as an American though, which is really a bummer because literally just a matter of months ago, we could have moved there and be quite welcomed. There was definitely a lot going on this year. The only way that we really, I guess, managed to cope with how stupid we were in terms of like not being as progressive as we were in terms of like looking for job opportunities and stuff was the fact that there was also not just Brexit but a pandemic on top. So we were just like really on the edge of like, should we even move? Would that be a stupid idea to move during a pandemic? You know, every country is handling the situation so incredibly differently, and it's affecting everyone on an economic level differently. And then in the UK, there's also Brexit. That is going to be taking a pretty big toll on the UK. So basically a couple of big life things happened. Johannes decided to go ahead and just look up on the government website what everything entails post-Brexit, because we were already in the post-Brexit phase. So we looked it up and we were pretty dumbfounded. So like I said, it's a point-based system, very similar to what it's like to try to move to like Australia. To get permanent residency over there, it's 5 years, but those would be very intense 5 years because for our family anyway, we would be going for a worker visa, which there are a lot of different kinds of visas, but the one that would probably be the most feasible for us would be a worker visa for Johannes and for the family. But the problem is like he can't just have a job over there and like pay taxes over there. He would need to have like a very specific, well-paying kind of job where the company is like on a list, or the company would have to put themselves on the list. It's just a lot. It's very, very high demand, especially in a time during a pandemic, to imagine us getting over there in the next 2 or 3 years with this. On top of that, even so we would be paying taxes over there. Like Johannes couldn't open his own business or anything like that. Like he would have to be on a certain job in the list, which fortunately with what he's looking for, it's not like that would be impossible, but it's still kind of annoying. And if he happens to get laid off or fired or whatever, we would have 2 months for him to find another job in probably a pretty iffy economy with everything that's going on. And if we didn't, straight back to Germany we go. We would also not be getting any government support if he didn't have a job. So the good news is I, as his partner, so long as he has this job, I could work like a basic job like at Waitrose or something like that. So I would be allowed to work, but somebody would have to be either looking for a really well established job on the list or have one of those jobs. We would also have to pay for health insurance. We would not get it. It's not really that expensive. Like, it's still like nothing compared to paying health insurance in America or something like that. But we would have to pay health insurance. It wouldn't be guaranteed for us like it would be for all of the other UK citizens or permanent residents. It's pretty crap, to be honest. It's really shit compared to what it was. Pardon my French, but it's terrible news. We were really gutted about it, both of us, and felt really stupid. Honestly, if we would have done our research better, we would have gone ahead and moved during the pandemic, like in 2020, kind of regardless, just to get the settlement, the agreed settlement status that a lot of other European citizens managed to get in the time frame. I believe the cutoff was December. Because it's something we realized that we wanted so much, like taking the plunge in that way would have been still a lot easier than considering taking the plunge post-Brexit, just to give it a try. But, of course, like, who can really blame us? I mean, with the research, our fault, we were stupid, but who can really blame us for being a little bit skeptical about moving country in 2020? One thing that's for sure out of this whole thing is we realized how much we really, really wanted actually to move there. And I think once you've had something like taken away from you, you realize how much you really wanted it and how much it means to you. And like, even so, it seems pretty impossible. And we already knew that like the pay wages were a lot lower than they are in Germany, generally speaking, but that was something we were willing to sacrifice. I don't really believe you have to have a lot of money to be happy. That's just not really my motto in life. Like, I'm really all about experiences, and I still kind of feel like at the end of the day, like, if he got an opportunity over there, and say we were there for a year and got sent back to Germany before we could apply for full residency, I don't think that's like a year lost in my opinion. Like, I'm just really all about living my life for the experiences, and I don't think that 6 months, a year, 5 years in another country is something that I would ever, especially one that I love so much. Like, I've said it so many times, it is like my home away from home over there. I don't want to get all emotional again. It was just hard because it was like this place like in Europe that was a little bit like home. Like, everywhere else in Europe, I feel very foreign, but over there, even though I'm a total foreigner and totally different, and American and English people or British people are not the same, there's still a lot of similarities, and I always felt very at home and very welcome there. Not that I don't feel welcomed in Germany, I just feel different, very notably different. And I would have loved to give living in Europe and living in an English-speaking society to help me get on my feet a little bit better, just for my confidence and also for friends and connections and stuff, and not have to go all the way back to America, if that makes sense. Like, our family's very Euro, you could say. So we are just kind of weighing our options. Like I said, there's more to this story that I can't talk about, but I'm sure we'll be able to talk about in hopefully the near future. Honestly, right now, I'd just be happy to have another stay over there, but it's not looking very good for that either. Because like I said, it's like my home away from home, so it's really nice to go over there and like recharge and everything. On top of all of the news we had to kind of deal with early March, in combination with March being a really dreary March, like up until the end was really bad. Like, it was so cold and just gray every single day. And with the lockdowns, like, we're still in lockdown. It's very hard for me to live in a closed Europe. It's very hard for me because it's such a big part of the reason why I'm here is for like the experiences, and I know it's probably all temporary, but it's been a long time, and I feel really claustrophobic, and it's hard to be without your family and then stuck and in lockdown all the time, and then also come back home from America where you had your family and you had your connections and you felt kind of like you belonged, and then you come back and you're completely isolated and cut off in a way. And to know that every single border is closed and everything is so close but so far away has been just making me feel really claustrophobic, and I've been going through kind of a hard time. Tons and tons of reality set in for us in the last couple of months, but like I said, with the dark times comes usually the most wisdom and the best action plans to move forward, which we do have some, which it's probably a little bit too much and too deep to talk about right now, but is UK completely off the table? I wouldn't say so, but it's not looking as good as it did. And it's something I'm struggling to cope with. It's something that Johannes is also struggling to cope with. But it is what it is, and that's one of the things that has been weighing us down, that I'm sure a lot of you guys were really curious about after my mini meltdown on Instagram. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. I really appreciate all of you guys being there for us. All of the support I have received through this hard time has been so immense, and I can't thank you all enough. And we'll just have to see what happens next and go from there. One thing that's really helping is that spring is here. And oh yeah, thank you guys all so much for the birthday wishes. I am now 31. It was my birthday 2 days ago on March 28th. So thank you guys so much for the birthday wishes as well. And like I said, have a lovely week. I will see you guys next time. Bye!